we want to just connect and understand what they have to say today and just kind of let them take us on this journey today for our highest and greatest good. So I'm going to place you on the cloud, this beautiful white cloud. And as you're on that cloud, this beautiful energy of protection is surrounding both of us and all of our energies. And we're floating and floating. And as you float and be dropped, let me know the first thing you hear or see.
It feels like it's raining money.
It's raining money. Okay. Are you anywhere specific that it's raining money or just in the middle of nowhere?
Like I'm sitting on a cloud and they're just like pushing money at me.
Okay.
Like
Do
all of
you
my
know
guys are just like pushing money at me.
are they showing you that image?
Because I've gone to this point where I'm like questioning if it's time to leave my part-time job or not. And they're just saying that I no longer need to be there, that it's just trusting in the universe. And it's like it's raining money because I'm starting to play around and almost like master manifestation. So every day I work on manifesting a certain amount of money, and for the most part it has came every day that I've done it. And so they're saying that at this point it's just a trust in myself and trust in the business that I've built.
Now, are they okay with you still staying at your part-time job if you want to, or is this part of the lesson?
Yeah, so they're saying that if I feel like I still need that safety, it's fine, but just also understanding that my time is much more valuable than what they're paying me.
Okay. All right. Can you make it rain money over here? I'm going to close my eyes and hopefully my guides show me that when we do our session.
I know, right?
um, okay, so now that they've given you that information, do they want to take you and drop you off anywhere?
Okay, so something has came up for me recently that they want to heal.
Okay.
So the other day I don't even remember what it was, but I remember I had this thought. So I have a couple of pre-birth memories, or I have one memory of my actual birth. Um, so my pre-birth memory is my arcturian self pushing her consciousness into me, or as like into the baby when I was still in my mom, and almost like sending me off with love. And then my other memory is my next memory after that is my mom had a C-section with me, and it's almost like my first memory was me just being like yanked out of my mom. And I just like, it feels so traumatic. And it feels like I just looked around and I was like, what the fuck? Where am I? This is not right. This is not what I'm used to. And I feel like my entire birth of coming into this earth was very traumatic.
Okay, and so how do they feel the best way to help heal that is?
They're saying that it was very important that I was born at a specific time. And so my mom almost like she wasn't delivering me at the rate to make it at that time. And so it was important for me to be a C-section baby. And which is really interesting. It's saying, it's almost showing that it was important for me to be born at that certain time. And they're showing me that the 369 in my birth chart, it's almost like being born at that specific time is what gave me the 369 in my birth chart, which is so interesting that this is coming up today because I've been seeing 369 everywhere lately.
Now, what is the correlation between the birth chart, like your numbers and like what your mission is here on Earth? Like, why does it have to be, if she would have been born late, what would have really changed for her?
So my gates would have been slightly shifted in my birth chart, and it was really important that I came into the gate, the 6th house, with a Sagittarius rising, because I'm here to master my unconscious mind, and I'm here to help other people work through their unconscious mind so that we can help evolve, because our collective consciousness is created through the unconscious mind. So we have to work through all of that old programming. So it was really important that I came under the 6th house.
So if she would have come late, it might have been something else that she was having to master.
Yeah, the energies wouldn't have been set up the way that I wanted them to.
Okay. So why does it, for a newborn, feel more traumatic to have a C-section versus a natural birth? Like, what's really the difference for the baby?
They're showing me that when you have a natural birth, like when it goes through the birth canal, that contracting, it almost feels like you're being hugged on the way out. It's almost like you're being nurtured on your way out when it contracts and like pushes you out the normal way. And it feels traumatic because it's like they just pulled me out of my mom and just gave me to some random guy because my dad wasn't there either. So yeah, they're just saying that C-sections can be more traumatic for babies. You don't have like, you're not coming in with that loving, nurturing aspect.
Now, I've done sessions before where we talked explicitly about C-sections, and the collective said that C-sections actually make it so that when people are born, they're disconnected from their higher selves even more because there's something about the contractions that connects them to their higher selves. Is that true, or what can you tell us more about that?
They said yes. They said, um, yeah, they said that if you're born a C-section, a lot of times this was another lesson for you to learn. And they won't be as necessary in the future as we progress.
So, with all these planned C-sections, is that kind of another thing that is like is planned by the stars, by you guys, or is that something that's been used to as another way to manipulate humanity and keep us disconnected?
Yeah, they're just showing me the duality of it, of it's almost like we had to integrate that, so that we could learn the importance of natural birth, and so that we could learn how to transcend these things. So this was a part of like me wanting to come into the deepest experience possible. And they're telling me that like that's also why I don't feel very connected to my mom.
Now, what can we do to help heal this for Ceirra and for her mom? I mean, that must have been traumatic having her child that way.
Yeah, so it's like I see myself as a little baby, and Archangel Michael is coming and shining light on me.
Mm. How are you feeling
Like
with that?
all my guides and my angels are around. Feels a lot better. And they're
And I
just
know,
shining light like onto my mom now.
yeah.
Just cleansing and clearing the space.
Is there anything more they want to tell you about that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm so grateful that they were able to heal that point of coming here. Now, where would you like to take us? Is there anything more we need to look at with Sierra's life?
No, they said we could go have fun now.
Okay, all right. Oh, I'm all for the healing too. So that is fun for me to heal a mother and baby. All right, all right. Let's get our party hats on. And where would they like to take you on that beautiful white fluffy cloud?
Okay, so I'm with Jesus immediately. Um, so when I travel with Jesus and my arcturian self, it's like we jump in our merkaba. It's almost like we have a team merkaba that holds all three of us. And Jesus and Akiyu just roll up with their sunglasses and they're like, hop in, let's go.
I love how they show themselves to you. They're all of a sudden like on Grease, the whatever those guys are, the Thunderbirds. Um, okay, so where are you guys going to?
Mm, we're going to Andromeda. I heard Andromeda.
And why are they wanting to go to Andromeda today?
Because this is where people go in the universe to learn how to move energy. Or this is where people would go, or like beings would go. So we're talking about the planet around Andromeda. Um, this was a planet where they would teach people how to move energy.
So explain to me and anyone listening what that means to move energy.
So since we are all made of energy, we have the ability to manipulate and create anything that we want through energy. So since all things are just made of energy, all things are just atoms at the most basic level, we can learn how to train our minds and our hearts to move and manipulate this energy to create anything that we want in our environment. And as we go, our brains in this reality currently, we have been so conditioned that this is an ability that we do not have, that's why it's so difficult to do it now. But as we progress to the fifth dimension, it will get much easier, and this is something that we'll do all the time. So it's like if we're hungry and we want an apple, we can just manifest that apple by manipulating the energy around us.
And it would encompass and hold the frequency of a regular apple.
Yes.
But eventually we'll realize that we don't need that apple to chew, and we'll just use the energy to kind of like charge us. Is that what we're going to?
Yeah, so especially Andromeda and star seeds, they're very powerful healers. They heal with energy, and like they're very good at manipulating energy. So I think that's why they took me to Andromeda. So Jesus said he's going to teach us how to work with energy and pretty much create whatever we want. And we can start practicing this now, so that we're ahead of everyone else when we shift.
Okay. My brain has a question and I want to ask it before we start practicing, because otherwise I won't be truly present. I'll be thinking about this question. And so we've been told that you don't necessarily, like, when you're manifesting, you're not necessarily manipulating energy, you're accessing a timeline that vibrates with that. Now, what you're telling me is we can manipulate energy. Is it a hybrid of both, or is manipulating energy actually manipulating the timeline you're on?
So they're showing me that there's two kind of manifestations. Like there's manifestations where we hold that intention and tune ourselves to different frequencies. And then we actually have the ability to physically manifest things. So the way that they're speaking it today, it's like manipulating matter to physically change it into what we want. So today it's about like using your consciousness to manipulate atoms to alchemize your reality.
Okay, I like that. Thank you. I've always been curious as to, but I guess we could do both. Okay, so we are here, we're ever present. Jesus, can you help us understand how to manipulate energy to bring that matter to our presence?
He said that he used to teach people on Andromeda how to manipulate energy. That's why he took us here. Because I have this feeling like the matrix of Andromeda wasn't as dense, and so it was easier to play around with energy on Andromeda.
Okay, so how do we start, Jesus?
Okay, so me and Jesus are standing. He took me to a beach, or it's kind of like a sea,
Okay.
and we're standing on the sand. And he's just saying for anybody watching, so just visualize your finger, and then visualize the tip of your finger. Now visualize one tiny atom in your finger at the very tip, just to see that atom, look at it. Now look at the sea of water in front of you that you're imagining. And if you tune into that sea, you'll see that or just tune into one atom of that sea, and you'll see that it's the exact same thing. So that's oneness at the most simple level. So the atom of your finger is the exact same thing as the atom of the water. And once we understand at the most basic level that we are all one, at the most basic level that we are all made up of the exact same thing, then we can learn how to manipulate matter. So he's saying once you have that understanding that everything is energy, that you are all one, you understand that all is mind. He's really showing me like the law of mentalism from the Kabbalion. Then you can set an intention of what you want that atom to turn into. So he's kind of showing me like in the Bible where he split the Red Sea. And I think that's why he took me by water. So he's showing me that once you understand that it's the same, he's telling me, like, so now close your eyes. Because when you set the intention for the water to split apart, you're going to feel it split apart in your heart. You're not going to imagine it split apart. You're going to feel it split apart with your heart, because the energy of your heart is what is manipulating the matter. So just close your eyes, tune in with your heart, and imagine, just feel, like, don't envision it, just feel the sea part, and the sea will part.
And can you do the same thing, like, to move things like I know they say with like telekinesis, you start with like aluminum foil or something light. Can you do the same thing from the heart space of moving objects?
Yes, absolutely. And so you have like the arcturians that have mastered telekinesis and telepathy and things like that. Well, the Andromedans have mastered how to move things with their heart, and connect that energetic frequency. So you it's more that you feel it move within your heart. So if you want to manifest an apple, like, you just hold your hand out, you drop down into your heart, and just feel that energy swirl into an apple within your heart. They're saying, like, create it within your heart and it will be there.
Kind of just feels like it'd be like like I have my eyes closed, my hand out, and I feel like in my heart space, it's kind of like a 3D printer. Like I'm sending the dimension to that software of the 3D printer, and like it's almost like printing out in my hand. Is that kind of what it should feel like?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you're doing.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Um, Now, is this how on the fifth dimension we're going to create things?
So people will have their, like, specific things that they've mastered. So there will be people manipulating matter through their mind, and there will be people manipulating matter through energy. It's just depends on what you've mastered in the past and what you're trying to learn. So eventually people will be able to come to Earth to learn how to move energy in different ways. And that's why we can practice it now, is because if we master it now in the 3D, once we get to the 5D, it will be extremely easy. And that's why, like, Jesus was an ascended master of the 3D, is because he could manipulate energy in the 3D. And in the Bible, that's all he was doing, was he was just tapping into his heart and feeling the atoms come together and create things like bread and wheat and wine.
How did he bring people back from the dead?
He started laughing and saying magic.
It's a secret recipe.
No, that he said that those were people that he had contracts with. Um, so it has to be a there has to be it has to be almost like a partnership. Like,
Got
you
it.
can't just randomly bring anybody that you want into a certain body. You have to have contracts to bring them back. Um, but if you understand how to once you understand how consciousness works, you can help others project their consciousness into certain bodies.
Okay.
And
Um,
they work together to show people that miracles exist, and to show people, like, they wanted it to feel like magic because we needed magic at that time, because it was a very dark time.
yeah, and I think that's where when people don't know about life contracts, that's when they stop believing in miracles, because they're like, well, if you brought so and so back to life, but not, my aunt who I really was praying for, like, I don't believe in miracles anymore. And it's like such a shame, because they just realize it's all life contract based, that the miracles exist as long as it honors contracts, that it becomes, I don't know, it's just a shame that more of humanity doesn't understand that. So what can you help explain so that they have a better understanding in their minds about how that corresponds?
He's saying to understand miracles, you have to create miracles for other people. So until you start even just creating small miracles for other people, you won't understand, even just on like the smallest level, of what it means to have a contract to help somebody else, I guess. Um, like he's just saying that like the people, it's kind of a point of the soul's evolution where there are some people that just will never understand. There are other people that see it for what it is, and then there are other people that truly understand what miracles are and what it means to make miracles for other people.
And why is it so important to do miracles for other people? What does that do for the vibration of the world?
Miracles is how we give unconditional love. Like we can't give miracles until we truly understand that we are a miracle. Like we give miracles when we understand that we are ourselves are a miracle, because you can't give something you don't have. Like if you don't have $5, you can't give it to somebody else. But once you understand that you truly are a miracle, that you can create miracles for others, and you start giving that away, like um and when you start creating this for everyone else, that's when you've truly become aligned with like the beauty of your soul and the essence of your soul, and you're in balance with unconditional love.
I love that. I love that. And I just, is that going to happen on 5D?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. And then what do you consider a miracle?
So I listen to the Course of Miracles all the time. There's these two ladies from the Course of Miracles that just like go through the lessons every day. And I was listening to it, and um just one thing that like really uh one thing that really stood out to me this morning was that um you under there comes a point in your spiritual growth when you understand that there was no such thing as sin to begin with. And I thought that that was so beautiful, and I felt like that really stood out to me, because that's also another understanding of soul contracts. Like when you understand that there's a greater plan in place, and that it's just all different experiences in our life, that sin really never did exist. It's like we can release that, we can forgive.
Now, in other higher functioning societies, like higher dimensional societies, do they have prison systems?
No, there's no need for it. It had to be integrated, but once you get to a more loving civilization, and you are not conditioned in this kind of system, and you live from a place of love, then there's a greater understanding of the effect that you're having on other people. You're able to honor the other person that you're affecting, and you have this understanding of oneness. So you understand that whatever you're doing to another, you're actually harming yourself.
So why is it so important on this dimension, if there's no judgment and there's no sin and everything's a life lesson, to enslave humanity?
he's just showing me that there's like just such a greater plan in place. Like we just need to let go and forgive of the system that has been in place. And he's saying that the greatest thing that we can do right now is just align ourselves to our own spiritual growth, align ourselves to our own divinity, focus on that connection with source, whatever we want to consider source to be, and forgive, because we're not going to be able to release the conditioning that we've had until we forgive the system that we've been in, and just knowing that it did serve a purpose. Like a lot of these lower density things really had to be integrated into society and into civilization so that we could move into a time that is so beautiful.
Well, I hope so, especially for people who were incarcerated that unjustly. But I do honor their soul contracts, their life contracts, and their teams, and that they are working together. I just wish everyone has their sovereign freedom, and I guess that's just my hope for humanity at this time. So I understand the bigger picture, and I understand we need to forgive the systems. I just I guess it's that heart of wanting everyone to feel freedom and feel unconditional love. So um, what more can you tell us about the benefits of, do each, like one of our chakras, do each one of our chakras like able to manipulate energy in different ways? Like I know the heart space you said was important for manifesting energy in reality, but are the other chakras just as important for different types of gifts?
Yeah, so he's showing me, so he's like, he doesn't want to share all of it because a lot of these things you have to be at a higher consciousness before you even, like, there's things that only ascended masters understand, or just you have to be at a certain level of consciousness before you can learn these things, because they can be destructive if you use them in the wrong way. So and that's how he wants us just to know that that's how powerful we are. So all of our chakras open us up to these beautiful abilities, and once we understand that one atom in our finger is the exact same thing as one atom in a sea of water, we can manipulate elements. Like we can move the wind, we can move the clouds away from us if we don't want to be rained on. Like all of our chakras really connect us to the elements. He's showing me again the power of the mind to use to manipulate, like, or to levitate things like telepathy, things like that. And then he's showing me the Kundalini energy. So if we have more Kundalini energy, it's almost like we have more force to move atoms to create what we want.
So as we move forward on the ascension ladder, we're going to get to know more.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are just some things still that humanity is not ready for.
Right. And I understand if you give us the whole kit and caboodle, it's hard to focus on just one to really master it.
Like the other day, I asked him, how do I move fire, or like, how do I move and manipulate fire? And they were just like, no.
That's my name, Carrie. That's the movie. I can shoot fire out of my eyes, apparently. I'm the fire starter. Um, beautiful. Well, are there any final messages that Jesus wants to share with us?
Just that you are all so beautiful. You are all a part of the divine, that we are all one. That if you're listening to this, you've either had a moment where you've just known that we are all one, or it is coming. That connection will be made very soon for you. And to just welcome it in love. Just really see your brother and sister as you, and honor and love them as if they are you.
Love that. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you for all of your teachings and reminding us of unconditional love.
Thank you.